Rabbit Hole Podcast, episode 13. That's my lucky number.
Boo, boo, boo.
And you're back.
I'm back, baby.
Mate, off the bench. First woman off the bench.
Thank you.
Like Margaret Thatcher, you're here to stay.
I don't... there's so...
So you moved past the hate from the Elon Sims and you've moved past the Lizzo hate too.
And apparently now the Margaret Thatcher hate. Apparently that's going to come soon.
Hate.
Like
that was a good thing. All right, that was a good thing. And in your fashion,
it's just that I don't
you had
know,
to pull it away.
But they always default to that, and then I just don't know how to respond to it.
You respond positively, like the positive comment it's meant to be.
Okay,
we'll move on. It's been a very interesting week, the last couple of weeks, and top of the news sphere, India has landed on the moon.
Beep, 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 beep.
Bravo, India. Modi, you and your boys, you were doing it covertly and you fooled us because I did not think that was on the priority list for India.
It was definitely not on my bingo card for 2023. It was not.
So India has landed its Chandrayaan-3. What happened to 1 and 2? Spacecraft on the moon, becoming only the 4th nation ever to accomplish such a feat. The mission could cement India's status as a global superpower in space. Previously, only the US, China, and our boys in the USSR have completed soft landings on the lunar surface.
They're not our boys.
Come on, man. Okay, where did this come from? Like,
no friggin' idea. Hey, did not know that space still needed to be pursued, but apparently it does. And I mean, good on them. Good on them.
India. I wonder, if in the beginning of the year, on Modi's, Modi being the Prime Minister of India, on his vision board, where he said, you know what, of all the things I want to do, there's social justice, inequity problems, inflation, all that. I don't care. I want to be on the moon because this is going to be a historic day for our country and all that whatnot. But I tell you what, he's achieved it and only 4 countries did it. And, if we were to, when you list the US, China, Russia, India is like a very unlikely country that you wouldn't think about them landing on it. But bravo, they've done it, right?
Look, the way that you laid all of that out, like it's on the mood board of Modi and everything, that kind of actually makes sense, right? Because it just feels like, all right, I've got all these shiny toys, I've got all the resources and infrastructure that I could ever potentially need, and I can have the control of, this is what I want to happen. We're going to mother bleep in space. And on top of that, to your point about not ever thinking that this country would be or whatever, a set amount of countries would be pursuing space or any endeavor like that. It is kind of funny, but I mean, that's the whole point, right? Like, good on them for they're like, we're going to prove you wrong. Well, I don't know who it is that we need to prove wrong, but you know what? We're going to do it.
Look, I think the great thing about this is that not only have they landed on the moon, they've landed on the south pole of the moon, which, according to my very extensive research, is a place in the moon where a lot of countries want to kind of research on it because it potentially has water deposits, and water deposits means potential life there. So apparently, a couple of weeks ago, Russian crafts were trying to land on there too. So for them, again, simply to get this optically is great because, to land on any level of space exploration demands 2 things. One is utmost resources from a financial sort of perspective. And the other is just the intellectual manpower to be able to kind of get there. 2, hurdles that have only made 4 countries able to do this. India now being one of them. Again, like I say, bravo, Modi, bravo.
My biggest gripe and contribution to this discussion is why did we not lead from a media point of view? They were the first. I know it's a lot more to explain and whatnot, but that's a big thing too. They were like, I'm sure there's a reason to it all, along with the, with the water and whatnot. But they thought, south, we got to go there. We got to go down there, and we're going to be the first to do it.
Well, that's big. That's big. And again, Modi, your mood board hashtag. I'm giving a PR hashtag for you, Modi, and I'm gonna call it Modi Flex. Modi Flex. I think it's got runway. I think it's got runway.
Why does this
keep
keep happening?
Runway. But look, speaking of space, and that ever since Neil Armstrong was in.
Yep.
First man on the moon, landed on the moon. There's been that
Buzz Aldrin. Yep.
Yep. Buzz Lightyear.
Sure.
There's been that fascination by human beings to conquer the unknown and that. And obviously Elon is doing that with, with his company to land on Mars over there. So I think it'll be interesting. But I pose this question to you as we try and get Chauncey off this set. Chauncey, this is not working for me.
Leave her. It's fine until it's not fine.
Is, what is happening in space in the sense that do you think ecotourism in space is the next frontier? Would you pay 10 grand to, do a spaceship, a love boat spaceship thing around and just to see, there's the moon over there.
Exploration,
there's
you mean?
Mars, in a touristic view. But, after the whole submarine fiasco, you better believe I'm not going to be the first 100 to do that. But would you do that?
No.
Why not?
Look,
you don't want to see the stars?
I pride myself on being, on the cutting edge of, adoption and whatnot. But no, I have no desire.
Really?
Look, like if it's a matter of life and death, which is heaps down the track, and also, am I going to be alive? Who knows? But I got other places to go. I got other things to see.
You don't want to see the pyramids from the moon? I guess you want to see it in real life.
You won't be able to. What are you talking about? What, do you?
I think so.
I got to watch out for our bank account now to see where this money is now.
What if money wasn't an option? Surely,
would not.
I mean, a lot of people do want to do it. I mean, for those
Good
that
for
have
them.
money to run.
Not for me.
Anyway, good on you, India. This puts you definitely at the top of pops at the moment. You're basically in the news sphere. We are a country, we being India. Sorry, not that I'm Indian. I'm part of Indian descent. But I wanted to leave this segment with the top 4 power ranking events for the year for India. And obviously, number 1 is the landing on the moon. It doesn't get bigger than that. We're at the South Pole, baby. You reckon they can check in on the moon? I mean, surely they've got to check in on the moon.
Does it have signal? I don't.
Okay. Anyway,
I don't know.
So number 1. Sorry, let's begin that again. The number 1 power rankings for Indian events in the year 2023. They landed on the moon. Number 1. Number 2. Vivek Ramaswamy comes out of nowhere as a potential presidential candidate. Probably not going to happen, but he is of Indian descent, and we're going to claim him. You better believe it. Number 3. Rishi Sunak, I think I got the name wrong, becomes the first Prime Minister of Indian descent in the UK. And number 4, I know this is not a 2023 thing, but the CEOs of Google are Sundar Pichai and of Microsoft, Satya Nadella.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm just saying it's been a big year. There's a lot of representation and the boys are back in town, baby.
I feel like you've missed a whole big subsection, like the most important one, to be honest.
Which is?
India winning Best Original Song from the
Jai-Ho?
Oscars. This is not Jai-Ho.
Yeah.
Look, it was for the movie RRR, which I have yet to sing yet.
Yeah.
But I've heard it's a banger.
Yep.
And I've heard that it's well worth the time to watch a big story kind of unfold.
That was on Netflix. That's the one that was trending at one particular time, right?
Yeah, it was everywhere. It was everywhere. So I guess we'll have to put that on the list.
I guess so. Tell me, have you heard, and number 2, of Oliver Anthony?
Nope.
Well, my dear, you should, because Oliver Anthony is number 1 on the American Billboard charts. And he has gone from virtually unknown in the last maybe, let's say 2 to 3 weeks to number 1 on the Billboard charts with his song, Richmond, North of Richmond. Have you heard this song?
No idea. I have not heard of Richmond. The only other Richmond I know is in the UK.
Okay.
Ted Lasso.
You know what?
Guys.
Unbelievable.
Guys.
Unbelievable. Okay, so I'm going to play the song. So you haven't heard of it.
No.
So you're going to react to the song.
I've not.
Tell me what you think about it. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't heard about it.
Wait, how would you describe this in kind of like 3 words before I start listening to this?
It is Angus and Julia Stone meets Social Conscious. Anyway.
I don't know what to do with that.
That's a good description. Okay, check it out now. Jesus Christ.
Working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
Okay, now, whoa.
Out here and waste my life
Ooh.
Drag back home and drown my troubles away.
Oh my.
What the world's gotten to for people like me.
Okay, so it's going to be like that.
You wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in the new world.
In the new world.
These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna.
Where is Richmond? What is Richmond are they referring to? So
I'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
Know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do, 'cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end.
It's pretty catchy.
I just love when it sounds very poetic, and then a profanity.
Okay, Angus and Julius Stone, we're going to stop it now. Meets social conscience, a right description.
I don't think so, but sure, it did miss a feminine tone.
Okay,
let's be real.
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag me back home and drown my troubles away. That's pretty standard, not standard, but pretty strong.
I would say, look, again, delving into the content of what the point that it's trying to make. I do also say, we've got to make a choice, right?
What do you mean?
I don't think you need to drown your sorrow.
Okay, here we go.
Anyway.
Okay, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, for people like you. Wish I could wake up and it not be true, but it is. So Oliver over here is talking about the growing resentment between the American lower and middle class against the elite. So rich men north of Richmond, north of Washington, D.C., basically the power brokers of the U.S.
Okay.
And this is obviously coming to a time... I mean, it's pretty rough in the US at the moment, right?
It's been boiling up for so long throughout COVID, through Black Lives Matter, through just a lot of things. When you really think about the last 4 years, it's been pretty wild.
Yeah, it's
as outsiders looking in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not up the place to be.
So look, we've had the inflation stuff, which we're in Australia. The inflation stuff exists across the world.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from China, that's deflationary. I don't know too many Western countries, at least, that are not facing some level of inflation. But you're right. You have the Black Lives Matter stuff going on there. You have the homelessness, which is at a massive boiling point in America. You have such this massive divide. And an example is
on top of, like, I guess the social kind of security or lack thereof. It feels with, like, I guess not having healthcare.
It's interesting. There is a lot of things going on, and I think again this song is just a representation of that, and it's coming at an interesting time because a lot of people. So this guy, Richmond, north of Richmond. Let me read. So. This song is being hailed as being a beacon, a voice of a generation, specifically for how the American people are feeling. So
it is saying, I must say, it is kind of saying it like it is.
Yeah.
In the delivery of it, so I can really.
But do we not think that there have been songs
it resonates with so many people?
But do you not think there have been songs like that in the past as well? Are we just living? Is it just this culmination of the events and obviously the presidential candidacy, anyway, whatever it is, it's starting to begin. So this has been pulled in there. But let me read some of the top comments, right?
Just sorry, to answer your question there, again, I'll probably have to, it'll probably strike me when I'm thinking, oh yeah, there was that song. I don't know if it's just my current disposition, but it kind of feels like there's always been songs of hope when it comes to kind of political campaigns, social commentary and whatnot. And I think it's also with the context of where we are right now, the proliferation of, like, you know, being like creativity,
social content,
and being
media,
able to,
and all that sort of stuff, right?
To produce all that stuff and even the reach and the virality that can happen.
Because tell me this
with this artist, right?
Yeah.
It's just a matter of I don't know, society just tending to look at the kind of focusing on the bad things because we have so much more mirrors kind of facing that to us more than ever. Does that make sense?
It does. Let me read some of the comments, right? Now, the first comment that I'm seeing here, this is exactly how us hardworking blue-collar people in the flyover states feel. 100% Mr. Oliver nailed it. Thank you, sir. This is a lyric as well, because I didn't read, obviously, the whole song. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground because in this country, all it does is keeping them down. Brings tears to me every time. Don't know what he's talking about there specifically. Maybe the war, like having to send people to the war as well. Because there's obviously big debates about the Ukraine and basically the role that American troops are playing. Otherwise, would people think that there's a lot of stuff going on around?
And just is that supposed to be a metaphor as well? But just like working till you die, basically. Like,
and I think as a Kenyan, I can say that this resonates with everyone. Worthwhile. 7 days later, Oliver has 10 songs in top 30 iTunes charts. America hears you. So a couple of things here. One is he apparently, he rejected a lucrative, I think, $8 million record deal. So he's walking the walk. He's not only talking the talk, and he said the only reason
that must be hard though.
Yeah, come on, Oliver, what are you doing, mate? But obviously, like the guy said, like if you look at it's 45 million over 2 weeks, and everything he's not a, I think he is a singer, but everything he's releasing in his YouTube is obviously popping off because people are saying there. But again, if you see this song, what I can't help but think, it's a very simple song, right? Like it's just the acoustic guitar. It's the rawness of it.
Yeah, the delivery of it. It's the delivery.
And it's also Oliver himself, Oliver Anthony. If you look at a visual of what the guy looks like, you can look at it now. He sounds every bit the individual that is portraying that hurt in the song. He kind of visually looks it. He's not like a clean cut, like hipster sort of looking dude. Although you might argue that with the beard, but you get what I mean. Like I think the combination of vocal delivery, the song, the time in America at the moment, the voice of a generation.
He's young as well. 31.
31. You're right.
So it's if you think about that as well, I guess the well, what? Because if born in 1992, so it would have seen what, like September 11, would have seen 2000 and when was GFC? 2007. Like, but we were like young at the time to be able to realize that. But those are the formative kind of things, right, that happen.
Music has always played a big part in society in reflecting how we feel, what we see. The proliferation of social media and just how big it is has made it easier to, but virality and things that pop, especially from a music perspective, it's just not an exact science, if that kind of makes sense, right? So I think, the algorithm picked him up, people resonated, and it snowballed to this effect, and good on him. And this is how...
Sorry, I need to say something as well. So I've just done a Google search.
Yeah.
The people also ask, like, kind of associated questions that come up with your search.
Yes,
Guess what the first question is? What is Oliver Anthony's net worth?
Of course. I mean, isn't that such a Google question, right?
Well, like the searching and the behavior of it, as far as it's reflecting on society. Google is just the medium, right?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's such a Google sort of question to ask. We have celebrity's name, and your next search is net worth, wife. The standard sort of stuff, right? But this song has gained so much, actually, popularity that we'll transition to the next topic. In the first GOP Republican debate, they put it up there as a beacon of a representation of how America as a society feels really fractured. So that's how big this has gotten. This song,
which is hilarious, I guess, considering
it's hilarious, but it's it's
considering the spectrum of the political view there. But anyway,
it's the culture.
Sorry, he just says as well.
He being Oliver.
Sorry, So another question was: is Oliver Anthony a liberal? If you've only heard this song because it was lauded by the far right and has lyrics trashing on welfare, you might be confused. But there's a simple explanation here. In a previous video, Anthony said he's pretty dead center politically. Yeah. So he's never claimed to be a Republican himself.
Yeah. And so they had this in the Republican debate,
right? Republicans always using songs without the permission of, but
it's not Republicans. They'd both use it if it was both ways. It's just taking advantage of the current trend, the current hot thing at the moment.
Yeah, I get it. No, I'm making a point though, because Trump has used a whole lot of songs where he didn't pay or didn't even ask for permission. It's by association, right?
Do you think that this song would resonate would resonate or hit in Australia, in a country like Australia? Do we feel that, like a lot of times I've said this myself, that Australia is a reflection, it's almost like a small sort of America. So do you think that those sentiments and those harboring resentments for the lower and middle class, that they would feel that?
I'm sure they would feel it. I don't know if a song would ever come into existence. I mean, won't hold my breath. I'm pretty sure somebody will try and follow and replicate the same thing now. I feel that, like, culturally speaking, again, I know that this is a very limited view in standpoint, but the sensationalizing of kind of a dividing opinion in America, I could be wrong, but it just feels so much more heightened. Whereas here, probably not as much. But again, I could be making a misguided statement based on, like, I guess my view. Just the sentiment that I see. And again, I'm not somebody that's, forthright in political opinion, but I keep across the basis of things, you know?
I think that's valid, because I feel the same, and I'm trying to understand. I don't think you have to be political at all. In fact, I kind of want a non-political view on it, because it's the people that are snowballing this voice and amplifying it. They're amplifying it by sharing it. They're amplifying it by talking it. And I just don't know if... I'm just trying to understand what makes America that country where... You know what's the example I use?
Sorry, you say your example
first? The example I use is the art in America has always been big. You know, the king of capitalism is America. You'd go into Broadway and you'd pay $80 to see a play. That's not a thing.
Not $80.
Well, whatever. What I mean is that's not a thing in Australia. It is, but it's never been to the rate of Americans because we don't appreciate the arts as much as they do. And it's
okay. So what I will say here is, I think we have to look at the underlying, factors. The underlying factors of what contributes that behavior. And I will say, first and foremost, obviously there's some level of wages there. There's some level of social welfare. So the fact that, you know, I think, like, we've got the dole system. We've got... we have superannuation set up, like compulsory superannuation. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
We've got healthcare to a degree. I think, again, not claiming to be an expert or jumping into the specifics, we are in a very much fortunate position, I guess, as a society as a whole. I'm not trying to make a sweeping statement, but in comparison to America, where there is this sense of, I think, trying to look after people. Having said that, I would also hazard a guess that our less than, how do I say this? People who may be experiencing hardship, it's not as visible. No, it's not as visible, nor is it as widespread.
Yeah.
Potentially. Because, like, for example, even that statement about, like, not appreciating the arts, I wouldn't say it's about appreciating the arts. I think it's more about American media is so, like, it's the top probably in like worldwide. That's what America is kind of known for, like, internationally,
it's
right?
The pop culture.
It's the pop culture of it, but I think it's that aspiration of, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you like, we probably have something similar there, but it's like, if I can make it there, I can make it anywhere. That type of vibe, and it's like,
which is what's made it the biggest country in the earth in terms of capitalism and driving. Look, let's transition to the first GOP Republic debate.
Oh God, here we go.
The fun topic. So look,
again, another area that I know nothing about, but let's just dive in.
Just the deep analysis.
Jumping in the rabbit hole.
We are breaking barriers. So look, Trump obviously didn't attend this for obvious reasons.
You're getting locked up. They won't let him out.
No, but apparently he could have, and he could have, remotely.
Probably finally listening to his PR team.
So he's
he's
leading in the polls. So what I found really interesting. So this is the first time I've actually spent time watching. So I watched the whole damn thing, and it's actually not very easy to get this on YouTube.
I can imagine.
It was quite interesting.
Sorry, I thought you were going to say it was not the easiest thing to watch.
It was it's a spectacle. Like, are they genuine? So I don't understand. Are they like half of the time was spent from the moderators trying to get them to
calm down?
Well, there's rules. Decorum? So I think there's 30 seconds or something like that. And if the bell goes, you've got to stop, right?
Yeah.
And then there are people obviously inside there. And how do I explain it? It's like, okay, you know when you saw those old videos of like the stock market where people are just yelling to get through? It felt like that.
That energy, that makes sense.
But I think, look, you had all the usual suspects that were then Republicans, but the individual that I want to lay the spotlight is the man of the hour, which is Vivek Ramaswamy.
I see what the theme is for today's episode.
It's the pro-Indian theme. So just to put it out there. So how they have this arranged is they have all the potential Republican candidates in a line, right?
Yeah.
So the individuals that are in the center of the line are those that are winning in the polls.
Is that typically what's supposed to happen?
No, that's it. So that was it, right?
But Trump's not there.
So if Trump was there, he would be in the center too, right? But if you think of a line, there's two centers, right? You have this center, that center, right?
Yeah.
It's like a horseshoe if you want to think about it like that, right? So you have left and right. And Florida Governor DeSantis. So
I know enough about that.
He's in the center, and Vivek is there, which means that he's actually polling quite well.
See, Chance is not happy about that either.
Within that, so it was really interesting. So Vivek Ramaswamy, tech entrepreneur, 38-year-old man. Look, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna talk too much of it, but I'm gonna talk about Vivek. Slick talking, Indian man, perfect white teeth, long hair, 38-year-old.
Obama 2.0.
Well, look, that's what Doug Christie was saying, that I don't want to talk to a guy that sounds like ChatGPT and has a weird surname. And when I heard that, that was
Chauncey was not happy about that either. That
was a very smart rhetoric from a debating perspective. But I can't help thinking, at what point do you not say that stuff like this is bullying? Like,
that's what their whole political system is based on.
I mean, it was just...
Again, a reactionary statement, but am I wrong?
It was fascinating to watch. Vivek held himself very well. And for a lot of people... So I heard about Vivek maybe a month ago in a podcast, a business podcast called The Olive Podcast.
Yeah, I do remember that.
So prior to this, I'd never heard of this guy before. He is extreme... Like, if you haven't heard of Vivek Ramaswamy, if you thought that Obama was articulate, this guy doesn't stop. So he talks really quick. That's number one.
Because it's the business background,
right? He's clearly used to pitching. He's run for like multi-million dollar companies.
Yeah.
He's an author. He's written books about wokeness and stuff like that.
Sorry, what's the leading business that, like, what's the...
Tech. Biotech, right?
Okay.
So I actually heard about it, but I can't remember it. But so what is he standing on? He is old school American. This is the thing about Vivek is he's slick talking. He gives you those Obama sort of vibes. He's young. He's 38. I'm only 30. I'm only 36.
In comparison to a lot of the dinosaurs that would be there.
What was the guy's name? The vice president with Donald Trump? Mike Pence said that we don't need a rookie on the job. That was burn. I loved it. I will say Americans know how to make anything freaking entertaining, because it was just apart from the fact that it was just chaotic, it was really entertaining to watch, and they were taking stabs at him. In the first quarter...
This is terrible. Like, the fact that they're making... I mean, I guess you got to find ways to engage people, but I don't think this is the right way to go about it and try and engage
everything
people
in America
into, like,
is the show, right?
The future, the next 4 years of that country. Like...
So, look, this is my... like distilling of Vivek, and obviously during time we're gonna follow this. You'll have a look,
because it's probably following Old Mate from the UK.
Yeah,
it kind of feels a bit. It's uncharted territory where it's people of color.
Yeah,
especially from an Asian point of view.
So it's great,
coming into. I mean, don't get me wrong. We've had our own versions of it here in Australia too, but this is on a grand scale, right? And I think Australia is to come, but we'll see how we go. Yeah.
So this is my view on Vivek, right?
Okay, lay it down.
And this is the view as at now. So I'm sure it's going to change. I'm going to do a lot more research, and this American presidency is just fascinating, right? So I just don't think Vivek has any shot at the moment. But the fact that he's polling how he's polling is actually incredible.
How is he polling? So you're saying he's high up, right?
Trump is way far ahead of both of these guys. DeSantis,
like say like a 60% or something. I
don't know,
that?
But there's a reason he didn't turn up, apart from the fact that like it probably wouldn't look good broadcasted from jail. Is that he knows that he doesn't have to, right? Because he's there, right?
Yeah, true.
So DeSantis is following,
more collateral damage,
and then it's Vivek. But I think the percentage difference are decent. And then you have Haley, and then you have all the other guys, right? Like following there, right? Mm-hmm. So Vivek is a brilliant debater. Clearly, he's an academic. He's written books about wokeness and stuff like this. We're talking about an individual that is at the top of his game. If he's 38, he's been a CEO. He is sharp, right?
Very self-assured.
And I would say almost too sharp. Because
if you're trying to get the favor of the people,
I'm going to give you my analogy of Vivek. Again, this is just gonna fall. This is gonna fall flat.
This is his own audition tape.
Vivek Ramaswamy is like KFC chicken. The first couple of bites is amazing. It makes you feel good. You double down on the thigh and the breast, and you say, you know what? I want more of this stuff. But then as you digest it, as you sit down and then you really think about the decisions that you have made, because hold up, should I not have shared the popcorn chicken with my wife or my kids? No, I deserve this. I bought this chicken on my own. It starts to eat at you consciously. And I think the more
Are you having a whole feast without us? What the heck?
I think the more I heard about Vivek, like, so in this,
it kind of unravels. I
tell you what, as a strategy, he has differentiated himself unlike any candidate that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I
haven't seen any other candidate because there were some candidates there that I don't even remember the name. They were clearly on the outer, and they were at the outer there, right? But you think from a lot of these guys have obviously PR firms that talk there, right?
Yeah.
If you're coming in, you're an unknown like Vivek, you have to say almost outlandish things to grab the mediascape, right? To grab the attention in the room, and that's what he does, right?
Because that's how they built the.
This is his story. Immigrant, came with his family, poor, lived the American dream, became a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, all that sort of stuff there, and is now having an opportunity to represent his country at the highest sort of level. And with this, he believes in God. He believes in the family as the greatest institution. He wants to take the troops out of Russia, Ukraine.
Oh, sorry.
He believes in fossil fuels as the way forward for capital. He doesn't believe in climate change. So he is he's getting that dial and breaking it, doing it past 12 and 10. And if you're someone, for example, that's not into politics, he is doing the trail across all podcasts, by the way, all podcasts.
See, that's
how
you use
I can
media,
guarantee you he's going to go on Joe Rogan. Like I can see it. But what I'm saying is, for the younger individuals that don't like to listen to politics, the people that listen to Lex Fridman, Andrew Huberman, without even going in, all you say is, you know what? He's a Fortune 500 CEO. Maybe he's not, but he's CEO of a country. He's 38. He talks like me. He thinks like me. He describes his leadership as a revolution. Like these
they all?
But like what I mean is he's really running into this rhetoric. And it's fascinating to watch because over recent time, I can't think of any presidential candidate apart from Obama, potentially, that has come with this sort of vigor and that. And I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to sow the seeds for the next couple of years.
Well, this is the thing, right? So there's a couple of things that are flagged in my head as you were going through that.
With the KFC or?
I could really go for some. This is not sponsored, by the way, but it should be.
It could be.
It could be.
It could be.
It
like,
really
why are you stuck on the NRL? Like, people watch.
Okay, don't give them the airtime.
Okay, right.
I think this is where inclusion and diversity kind of work for people of color, and it doesn't work for Anglo-Saxons.
I disagree
because let me finish my point first. 'Cause I did listen to you go through that completely. So just hold your horses there, right? You need to have a point of difference. And of course, if you're going to have that point of difference, to your point, maybe he has gone hard in the paint in that. But of course, you're going to have that point of difference. Another point here is there is the generational difference. We, again, are probably at this point of time where it feels creeping, but I think in this year, seeing this, what the wide change that's happening and the changing of the guard, and, you know, as the generation in front of us gets older and older, and what I'd be interested to see as well is what do the numbers look like from a demographic point of view? Because if it's overwhelming that the numbers are much, I don't think it would be. I feel like there's still an aging aging country.
Yeah,
but there has to be, if politics and government is all about having representation for the people, it has to be acknowledged that, you know, to have a point of difference and to be represented, we need to have people who are standing up to be in these, I guess, positions of power. I don't think, like, that's just how it came out. That's not how I intended to, but you know what I mean, right? Not to be cynical, but it's the time, right? And to your point, maybe it is a long-term strategy where it's like, okay, so they're probably not going to go for it now because we're not like, you know, like our Scandinavian countries where they're very progressive and whatnot.
Yeah.
Whereas it's just planting the seed, to your point, but it's just this, again, unwrapping what has been kind of traditional, if not non-traditional, with Trump, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And now coming into this, like, kind of something different. Maybe it's too soon as well. From like, it kind of feels like, okay, we went there and it was pretty intense. And let's say collectively, America, let's all just kind of be safe again and try and, well, with Biden, right? Maybe it's a time to jump back. I don't know. But you know, it's interesting.
Can I give you the 4D Vivek chess move? There's no way he gets president, right? There's just no way.
I don't think so. They would have to take a lot. Like, Trump would have to die.
So just think, Jesus. Just think of this.
What?
Okay, just think of this. 38. So unfortunately, I went through the whole damn debate. Ron DeSantis, Florida governor. Right? Yep. Hold up. Let me give the resumes of each of these individuals.
I can still boo.
Nikki Haley, former vice president. Mike Pence, former vice president.
Wait, no, sorry.
I'm talking about the resumes.
Right? Yeah. No, what's the?
Nikki Haley was former United Nations ambassador.
Cool.
Doug Christie, New Jersey. What I'm saying is all of them, apart from Vivek, have done the time.
Yeah.
Have done the time and have showed the propensity at a local and state level of running it there. Yeah. And that's important. So the only thing, the only thing that just rubbishes this statement by me is the fact that bloody Trump won it. And this just shows how emotional or the American presidency is. But let me give you my presumption on the 4D chess move. The 4D chess move is Vivek knows that he doesn't have a chance to win this one, right? However, the fact of the matter is that he's come out of nowhere. I'd never heard of him until 2 months. And he's second to DeSantis, I believe, in terms of popularity, meaning third overall in the Republican there, right? Albeit that the gap might be decent. If I'm Trump and I'm got that much of a deal, and I see this slick talking guy that's from a business background, I'm from a business background, I win it, how is he not the vice president for me? And that is the 4D chess move
that is
for
it.
Vivek.
That's
that, right?
That's 100%
You watch this.
That's
we're going to timestamp this. I think Vivek knows he's not going to get it.
The only...
Can I just finish one last point to this?
All right.
One of the questions that they ask is, who would you pardon Donald Trump if you were voted in? And the first person to raise his hand was Vivek. First person. didn't think of it for 1 second. 4D chess move. Vivek, I see your cards, boy.
Is so
and
slimy.
I'm so proud of you.
This is so proud of you. Slimy. But hold on. This could all go.
It could go wrong.
Hold on. No. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
You're saying for him
this
to
is
be
my
the
hypothesis, by the way.
Just wait.
Yeah.
Just okay, chill now, right? You're throwing the mic levels off probably.
I mean, if Kanye can't get in Vivek.
Oh my God. Shut up. You're making me employ like GOP tactics to actually say something here. Jesus.
Okay.
See, now I've forgotten my point, what I was trying to say here. No, this is what I was going to say.
Yep.
You're saying this as a means of, like, you're assuming that Trump is actually of sound mind and of good ego to have him as a running mate, as vice president. Yeah. I genuinely don't think that's going to be the case.
He's probably going to get his boy Pence for the second part too. But remember, Pence is the guy that, actually, I'm going to have to research it a little bit more, but...
a lot of things have happened. Everyone's got rap sheets of whatever.
I just think that this is the more, it makes sense, right?
It'd be pretty funny.
He knows.
I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. Yeah.
But if he wants to take this seriously, this is sowing the seeds for the next couple of years. And he has to do the hard yards because America is not going to allow, I'm sorry, the vast majority, a slick-talking tech entrepreneur.
In line with the previous story with Oliver Anthony, that's 100%.
Well, you've got to convince those guys, right? Yeah. So those guys are against.
Yeah.
The Viveks of the world, right? You're too slick. Anyway, I thought that was interesting.
So many layers to that.
It's pretty fascinating, though. You got to say it's pretty fascinating.
Something to watch because it's there's so much.
Can I say
tension.
It's more fascinating than freaking Australian politics?
Maybe we should run.
Oh shit! All right, down the rabbit hole. Okay. So, this is going to cause some tension between us.
But you know it is because he knows it.
Statue for fourth is nuts. Okay, so let me just paint the...
What are you talking about?
Okay, so the Matildas. They came fourth in the Women's World Cup. Let's give the clap.
Yeah, the girls.
I mean, the last two performances were shocking, but like they overperformed.
Well,
they outperformed their rankings.
Well,
although apparently they've lost their ranking.
But also the refereeing in the
here
last
we
game.
go. All right. Okay.
Questionable.
So anyway, the Queensland government has decided to put a statue of the Matildas outside Suncorp Stadium, and the decision to honor the Matildas with a statue has been labeled as over the top. Okay, hold up. Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk unveiled a plaque featuring the photo of the Matildas' reaction to Courtney Vine's match-winning penalty against France. Palaszczuk said the iconic image would be captured in a new statue outside Brisbane's Suncorp Stadium in honor of the Matildas' World Cup campaign. But not everyone is happy with the tribute. Shock controversy.
Who?
Former Australian basketballer Andrew Bogut.
Oh, of course.
And the conscience of Australia, Nick Kyrgios.
Oh my gosh.
Said that the Matildas' fourth place. Can I finish, please? Didn't justify a statue. Bogut tweeted, because we got a tweet. It's not tweeted, it's X'd. Clearly.
Yeah, what is it now?
I know, it's X. I don't know. Matildas did well. ... 5 dots, because when you put more than 3 dots, it's aggressive. Statue.
Because if it's a guy that's trying to make a point.
Can I finish, please? No.
I'm interfering with Andrew Bogut, mate, not to you.
Okay. Kyrgios responded. Agreed. Great effort. Statue for fourth is nuts. But hey, they had us at the edge of our seats next time.
You're even reading it as a guy that is being...
No, I'm reading it and how he'd enunciate. This wording, Kyrgios knows is going to get flack on it, but you can see how he's tried to word it there. But your thoughts?
Who are these...
Andrew
small
Bogut?
Little boys.
Are you kidding me?
Children.
Andrew Bogut.
Hey, now it's my time to talk, all right? Who are these little boys that are throwing their toys out of the crib because woe is me, I'm not likable. Woe is me, I try my hardest and give it away. Let me finish. No one likes me. I've got my opinions and everyone doesn't want to listen to my opinions. And they're saying, oh, I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. Like, just F you.
Okay,
Come on.
That's just unnecessary. Look, But you can see from their
F off. It should be the right one. I just got really.
What happened there? Okay.
I felt that I was talking directly.
Okay, but you can see from. I think let's just paint the perspective. Do you think that fourth place is worth a statue? That's effectively what they say.
That is not the point.
But that is what they're talking about.
Let me finish.
That's what they're talking about.
That's you're not seeing the point. This is a standard. Oh, black and white rules. This and that. It's either this or it's either that. It's like, guys, the freaking context here, all right? The freaking context here. It is not about you all the time, boys. This is like classic male jealousy. Just because, I tried to be on the elite of everything and I didn't win. So therefore, women can't win either. Win. Like, genuinely, come on, grow a pair.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think what they're saying is the statues outside Suncorp Stadium are reserved for sporting excellence. And
so you're saying that's not sporting excellence?
A fourth place is not sport. No, first, second, and third is sporting excellence.
Again, it's also the context. It's the context. It's not just sporting excellence,
okay, the context that you're talking about is bigger than sporting, is it not?
Of course, and therefore it needs to be... No, but therefore... we are again in a time where things are different now, and we are making space for representation and recognition of what, not just about winning. It's not just about winning. Excellence is not just about winning.
If that's the case, then wouldn't they be giving like left, right, and center for like our disabled sportsmen and stuff like that who participated or came for fourth or whatever, like plaques and stuff like that? They haven't done that.
Well, Dylan Alcott is getting his flowers, and of course he should.
How is he getting his flowers? He's just an ANZ representative.
Oh my gosh, you are so undermining his efforts.
I'm saying what flower? We're talking about.
He's won so many Grand Slams.
And he still doesn't have a statue and a plaque. That's what they're saying.
He's Australian of the Year last year.
So, okay, bingo. Why is he Australian of the Year?
Because not just because he wins, he also does a whole lot of philanthropy.
So philanthropy,
sorry.
I can't even pronounce two. I think that would have been a more appropriate award. And that I think that's the point that they were saying. Because
again, who's again, like, look, I respect your opinion, but also I don't respect Bogart's nor Kyrgios's opinion.
She's got against Bogart.
But because like the shit that he was trying to pull with Cambridge or Kyrgios, like slamming like Barty for no reason. Excuse me, I think there's a track record here. When there's smoke, there is fire, and it is a dumpster truck that they sit in.
Can I say if a girl
Oscar
said that,
the Grouches,
if a girl said that, would you agree or disagree? Would you slam the girl saying that?
Why would a girl ever say that?
I'm just saying if they said that.
It's again, you are portraying the exact same point that they're saying. It's not as black and white as that.
Giving a counterpoint.
It's not as black and white as that.
Counterpoint, whether you agree or disagree, it's just my point.
It's a moot point. Like all of this.
In your opinion, it's a moot point.
You're a moot point right now.
Sean sees it. And at that moot point, we're going to end off this episode.
He knows when to cut it.
This episode's time to cut. Tell them what they can do to support our channel, please.
Like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you think.
So what did you think? If you want to see more of this tension, more of this debate, because we keep it real, even if we don't 100% know about the topic that we're talking about in Down the Rabbit Hole podcast, let us know.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Share the podcast.
Share it with somebody who thinks would find this entertaining.
Refreshing
Share it.
Australian content. And we'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye.